Hello, today's painting is in ink and watercolour, just using the three primary colours. I thought it would be a good exercise to do a full picture using the three primaries, and it's something you could have a go at, and it helps you with your colour mixing. So you can get all sorts of nice greys and browns with your three primaries. So this little picture I found on Pixabay, this photograph of the little girl walking down the path in between the lavender, and I've actually changed it quite a bit. I've removed the tree and I've made a sea behind in front of her so that she's looking towards the horizon. So a very simple drawing, just using a waterfast drawing pen. Not a lot of detail, and certainly not a lot of detail towards the edges of the picture, and you'll see later on when I do the painting that I keep the detail towards the girl in the centre. So with the lavender and the wall, there's not much detail at all right towards the edges. So a very simple painting using plenty of water to allow the white of the paper to come through. So I've put all the colours and everything on, and what I'm doing on, with plenty of notes I hope, but if there's anything else you want to ask, if you want to put that in the comments below, and I will try and answer any questions you might have. So I've just used Cobalt Blue, Alizarin Crimson and Yellow Ochre, and like I say, you can get some nice browns, greys, stony colours for your path and your wall and things like that using these colours. Halfway through I allow it to dry completely, and then I come back and do some painting over the top of the dry watercolour in the foreground. I was once given a tip when you're painting on top of your previously dried layers, to imagine that you're painting on top of glass and you don't want to break it. So paint very lightly over the top. Don't be scrubbing at the paper with your brush so that you don't disturb that nice colour that you've got underneath. And by using plenty of water, we're going to allow those colours underneath to shine through. This is most obvious on things like the path where I put the shadow in, and on the wall where we put a few different greys and browns in, just to give us an impression of the wall really. With the little girl herself, with the drawing, you'll see I've sort of drawn around her leg, because when you've got a very floating fabric and a dress is sort of billowing in the wind a little bit, you don't want to lose the impression that you've actually got a person in there. This still wants to be a solid person and not just a floaty piece of fabric. So where the fabric's touching the person, you need to put an indication of some of those lines and shadows in. And again, when I put the paint on later and do a dress just in alizarin, you'll see by removing some highlights and putting a little bit of shadow in and moving the brush in the direction of where her little leg's coming backwards there, you get that impression that she's walking along and that she is inside that very billowing dress. So the little girl herself, I just used the very plain colours, just the ochre for her hair and the alizarin for a dress. Now with the skin colours, I use yellow ochre and alizarin, but only a very, very tiny touch of alizarin, so you use much more yellow than you have the red in the skin, and plenty of water in the skin, especially for a child. You don't want it to be too heavy. Don't forget your colours are going to dry a lot lighter than they go on as well though, so you'll see at the end how the picture looks when it's dry. I'll put a copy of that up at the end. So I think that's probably everything I have to tell you. So as you'll see, I'm doing the background now. When I come to the foreground, if you're using the same colours throughout, you get a nice harmonious painting, a very relaxing looking painting and calm painting. There's nothing going to jar because you're using the same colours throughout the whole thing. But as you come forward, if you want to get some depth, what you need to do is make your colours thicker as you come forward. So as you're coming forward, use less water and more pigment, and even pick up the pigment straight from the pan when you come to those foreground flowers and things, and it'll just make the foreground come forward towards you and make the sea move further away. Okay, so I think that's about it. Thank you very much for watching. Enjoy the rest of this little video. It's only a little short one. I've multiplied the speed ×3, so that gives you an idea how long it took me. It didn't take me long at all really, and the drawing itself didn't take long either. Okay, so thanks for watching, and bye for now, and I hope to see you again soon.